it's made out of synthetic materials, it's not makabel tumah. Yeah, synthetic materials are not makabel tumah because they never had a gzera that they're makabel tumah. Yeah, plastic. You can't. Only certain materials receive tumah. They're susceptible to tumah. Metal, wood, linen, wool, woven fabrics. No, because that's not gidule karka. That has to be gidule karka. That's not makabel tumah. Plastic is not gidule karka. No, you need both factors. You could have gidule karka that is makabel tumah. It has to be gidule karka, palush, and not makabel tumah. 3 factors. Those are all independent factors. You could have a talush that's gidule karka but is makabel tumah. Yeah, then you can't use it. So it's not just the fact that it's not makabel tumah. It also has to be gidule karka, and it has to be talush, not mechuber, and it has to be non-susceptible. If you take wood, just plain old pieces of wood like we do, basically eitzim, so that's schach. But if you form the eitzim into implements called kalim, now you can no longer use them for schach, right? So you can't use plastic for schach. It's not gidulei karka. Also, Bar-Hayim. Bar-Hayim, some of them are, as long as they're alive, none of them are makabel tumah, but they're not gidulei karka. And when they're dead, some are makabel tumah, some aren't. It depends on a list of circumstances. Are they food? Okay, or are they inherently tameh because they were nevela, right? So it's a question. My point is that synthetic materials cannot be makabel tumah because the Torah never told us that they're makabel tumah, and Chazal never made a gezerah that they're makabel tumah, so they're not. And not only that, Chazal told us there's certain materials that are accepted. Anything that you come from the sea, whether animal, vegetable, or mineral, anything you draw from the sea is not makabel tumah. Also, anything that fell from the sky. So meteoritic metal. There's iron in a meteorite. You use that iron to make implements. They're not makabel tumah because they came from a meteorite. Anything extraterrestrial from the sea. What? No, they come from the sea. Well, once it's food, it could be makabel tumah. Fish themselves are not makabel tumah.
But if you make out of it skin, though,
yeah, exactly. Skins does not. It's not makabel tumah because it came from the sea. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Beged or ore. Because also in the Torah, it's talking about beged. Beged is made out of wool or linen. They also say, technically speaking, you can only get tzara'as on beged, on wool or linen, but other things like cotton can receive tumah, right? And also leather or skin. But it has to be skin of an animal that lived on this earth. If it was the skin of a fish, okay, there are ways to do it. So you can make, you make a dolphin skin or shark skin stuff. So that's a pretty good way to do it. My point was, I would tell people for Pesach, you go to mikvah. You don't want to become a sheni latuma either. You want to avoid tumas mishkav and tumas moshav. Oh, well, what are you going to do? The odds are the chairs in your house are made out of wood or some other material, and a nida sat on them. Your very bed, might have been contaminated at a certain point. So what do? So make sure to only sit on keter chairs. If you sit on keter chairs, all different types of plastic and the cushions also on the chairs are made of synthetic materials. Or you sit on park benches. Even if they're made of wood or metal, they're mechuber l'karka, so they don't contaminate you. You eat on a keter table, that's plastic.
If I sit on a wooden chair, I have plastic on top of it.
Not exactly. Some tumas just go through. All right. Yeah, it's a problem. So stick to keter, basically. That's why. Of course, by the way, in this country, everything's made out. The furniture is made out of plastic because of Tumah and Torah purposes. If you're worried about your glass plates and your metal cutlery, also for Korban Pesach, it has to be pure. So what do? Use chad pami stuff, plastic. Okay, and we have gezeros for Tumah and Torah. We obey gezeros Chazal. We also have Tumas Yadayim, things you touch, which leads me to the last point about this, that you don't need to wear gloves. You have to dunk your hands in the mikvah before you eat the kachim. Okay, that's what you're supposed to. It's Tevilas Yadayim. and make sure not to touch anything.
Yeah, but
So don't let people or tmeis touch your sacrificial food. They have to purify before they touch it. Unless it's Pesach, Tumah Hutra B'tzibur, Dechuya B'tzibur, we don't look at the Tumas mace. We just look at the other forms of Tumah. Okay? So, yeah. If you have paraduma, so people will have to start purifying themselves. We'll make sure that if we wash the apples and we make them, mukhshar to receive Tumah, that no one touches them. And that leads me to saying I was reminded of. Chazal said that there's a gzera of B'tzilas Yadayim. Why? They want people basically to keep clean. And they also say that Amaratzim, if you want to be a chaver, you have to avoid Amaratzim. Why? Because they don't keep the laws of Tumah Torah. They don't know about contamination. They touch things they shouldn't with unclean hands, and they spread contamination whatever they do. So I've seen this. Amaratzim don't know about washing hands even for hygienic purposes. They're not the same thing. Tumah and Torah aren't necessarily hygiene. But the type of people, let's say, make toilet or change diapers and then do not wash their hands, if they're amaratzim with regards to basic cleanliness and hygiene, odds are they're amaratzim with regards to tumantaro. They don't, if you're aware of what your hands are doing, so you did Netilas Yadayim, you won't go and touch other stuff before you touch your bread or you touch your truma. You'll eat it with clean hands. So a chaver, a type of person who keeps these halachas, knows to keep his distance from Amaratzim, not to eat with them. Like the Rambam says, you want to be a Talmud Chacham, don't eat with the Amaratzim, because just like they don't know the laws of Tumah Tara, there's a lot of things they don't know. Though the sages basically protecting us when they created these laws of Tumas Kedayim and spreading Tumah. They're protecting us from even worse things. Yeah, food poisoning, really unhygienic food. If you see something that's not clean, physically clean, the odds are it's probably not ritually clean either.